about how to use AI to work smarter, like automate tasks, boost productivity, empower your communication. And we have about 1 hour. So I will cover some use cases, some tools, and show you some examples how to use these tools. So it will be not technical, and we will basically discuss how AI can improve our daily routine tasks we do every day, or like every week, regularly. So my name is Nikolai Vechi. I'm founder and CEO of Hyperscale and Vacuum platforms, AI-powered platforms to use to teach programming skills, and Vacuum is microlearning platform. I also a member of Sunday Club, which is AI group from MIT and Harvard. So we hack with AI tools every week. As Harvard Business Review wrote, I think it was like a year and a half ago, kind of a long time ago in terms of AI, that AI won't replace humans, but humans with AI will replace humans without AI. So most probably, like AI will not do all of your tasks and will not take over your job, but it's important to use AI to optimize your daily routine tasks to improve like your work and life, actually. So people who are using AI and have AI skills will probably be more productive and have a better like opportunities in the future. And I think it's already happening. So like in present, lots of hiring positions are requiring some like familiarity with AI tools, and it's because it's helping like improving productivity and helping to get results. So let's do a quick poll if we can. How often do you currently use AI in your daily workflow? Can I ask organizer? Oh yeah, we have a poll in here in Zoom. And I cannot vote myself, but I will see the results. While you're voting, I will move further and then we will discuss. So why AI matters for productivity? McKinsey about a year ago, they had a report where they claimed that up to 70% of repetitive work activities could be automated with Gen AI, and it was a year ago. Nowadays, with like more and more AI tools and better models, it can be even higher. And also about a year ago, Business Wire made a survey about how people are using AI, and 1/3 of respondents. Oops, I lost results. All results. They were here. Okay. Okay, let's continue. So like about 1/3 respondents said that they are saving 1 to almost 5 hours per week using Gen AI tools, and another 1/3 saved about like between 5 and 10 hours per week. So it's kind of huge given that we don't have much time available for us. We have lots of stuff to do, and saving like 5 to 10 hours per week, especially on like boring, repetitive tasks, is a huge deal. One moment. So let's move on. We'll go through some popular use cases of how you can use AI daily. I will answer your questions also at the end of the presentation, but feel free to ask them whenever you want to ask, and if they are relevant to the current topic, I will answer your question faster than before the end of presentation. So popular use cases. One of the most popular, I think it's quite common use case, is automating meetings in terms of note-taking, like writing follow-ups and scheduling. And probably some of you are already using these tools, and the most popular one are Otter, Fireflies. We use in Hyperscale, we use Grain, for example, but most of these tools are similar. So they join meetings, record meetings, and write a summary of what was in the meeting, and also can write like action items, can send follow-ups to all meeting participants. So it's very, very handy. You can have shorter meetings and focus on like discussing whatever like you need to discuss, or like making decisions, and you don't need to have like a separate person to take notes, or like to watch recording afterwards, or like split between like note taking and try to follow up what's going on. So note takers are there are plenty of them, and most of them are similar. So it's kind of basic functionality nowadays in AI toolbox, which people and companies are using. There are also, it's not generative AI, but there are also products to help with scheduling your like meetings. And for example, I personally use Reclaim and Calendly, and these tools can help you by reducing communication needed to agree with like another person or group of people on like what time fits everybody. It's especially good for working like between multiple time zones when people are like in different like countries, different time zones. And for example, like Reclaim can sync with your, and all of these tools can sync with your calendar. So like Reclaim can sync with your calendar and find like slot in your calendar and like your like other person calendar to find a slot which fits best for you and also for other party. It's a not generative AI tool, but it also helps a lot with communication. And I will show you how Grain works. So for example, I uploaded our previous webinar about creating videos with generative AI. It's not like a regular meeting with multiple parties speaking, so you will not see the full set of features, but I used Grain for our previous webinar, and it transcribed like what I've said there. It also made some chapters if I want to navigate faster, for example, to each part of the webinar. And it wrote summary, like what are outcomes, like basically what happened. If you use Grain or Otter or any other note taker app for meeting with multiple participants and decisions, if some decisions like were made or some action points were voiced, then you will see that, for example, yeah, that's also not automatic. Okay, so you will see it here in a summary. So it's basically optimizing quite repetitive and boring work on writing down like what was discussed, and and also it's making all meetings more productive, because before AI, sometimes like you join a meeting with like 5 people, you spend 1 hour together, it's like very interesting discussion, fun, like enjoyable, and so on. But then, like, nobody writes meeting notes, like nobody remembers exactly what have you decided, and like no action points, like nothing. So it was nice 1 hour talking with smart people, but it was unproductive in terms of exact like action items after the meeting. And tools like Grain and Otter.ai, they make all meetings very productive nowadays because you don't need to remember to take notes. You don't need to do it yourself. AI is doing it for you. So this is one example of using AI. In terms of a poll we had recently, half of you are using Gen AI occasionally. It's good. And 1/3 is using AI regularly. 10% are using never, and like 5% are using extensively. So yeah, it's a good set of audience, like set of people in the audience. So most of the people are using Gen AI occasionally. So automating emails. It's also one of the tasks which is sometimes boring, like you need to reply to all emails or to some emails. And sometimes you know what you want to reply, but you need to write it nicely or in like corporate speak or like in some like trying to persuade as a person. So you need to think about like how do you write, not what you write. And AI is quite good for it. So you can draft emails with AI. And sorry, I'm a little bit sick. So you can use like regular tools like ChatGPT or Claude. Actually, Claude is considered better in writing texts, and also since most of text online, like AI generated texts, are written by ChatGPT, people sometimes have like a blindness for like banner blindness for ChatGPT style texts and can recognize them faster. So if you use Claude, it will look more humane and recipient will be like more happy to read text written by Claude than by ChatGPT, for example. And also Claude Claude have like you can, based on your preferences, you can create some styles and write like your email in some style. So Claude is considered better for text writing, especially if you set up your Claude account in a way you like. But also, Gmail has a feature of writing, like helping you write emails, and I will show you. For example, let's see. I'm trying not to show you all my emails, but okay. So for example, this is some spam I received, and the person trying to sell me something. I don't know what, I haven't read it, but let's consider that I've read it and I want to answer. And using Gemini for Google, which is also like, I think it's it's working for every like company Google workspace, but also like for personal workspace. Also, I can write like something. Give me your successful cases first, and Gemini is drafting nice email like, "Dear Amanda, thank you for persistent follow-ups," because Amanda wrote me 3 emails already. I'm interested in learning more, but I would like that, blah, blah. So yeah, I can use this text, for example, and send it without thinking much. So you can ask Gemini in Google to write you email using the context of all the conversation, and yeah, it saves time. So because it uses conversation context, like your input, and you can like be very short and straight to the point with Gemini, but Gemini write it nicely and related to the topic. Okay, let's go further. Brainstorming. Oh, this is a great use case. AI is like knows a lot of stuff. Sometimes like, AI doesn't have a deep understanding or knowledge of some field, but since AI is trained on like a lot of data, most of LLMs, like AI models, are good in terms of intersecting, for example, intersecting like different fields. So and maybe like some creative new ideas which are located like or like which are created by combining multiple multiple areas, multiple expertise. And I often use mostly ChatGPT, but also DeepSeek recently for brainstorming. And you can use it alone. For example, I sometimes use Google ChatGPT voice app. For example, I can show you, I think. Or okay, I will show you later if we will have to. So ChatGPT has a mobile app with a voice voice mode, so you can talk with AI. So for example, if you walk somewhere like if you walk in a park, or if you like I don't know, do your laundry or like ride a bike or something like that, you can talk with your app about some ideas like brainstorming, discussing, and ChatGPT will suggest you some ideas, but it's also saved in your GPT history. So when you're back home, for example, or like when you're back to your laptop, you can open this dialogue in ChatGPT, like in a browser, and copy paste like what you want, what you need. But also, what I wanted to mention that prompting matters for brainstorming. Let's try to do it. So this is ChatGPT. And for example, I want to brainstorm like ideas for this workshop. Uh, uh, so I can ask ChatGPT, what topics should I cover today, for example, and it suggests some like, topics. Also about like personal productivity and so on. AI for content creation, for decision making, workflow automation, AI for communication, so on and so on. Why it's so slow? And but if you provide more context, for example, this is on our show for people who are occasionally using Gen AI. This is Zoom without practice because we don't have time in 1 hour. So it can provide like better ideas. And let's see. Yeah. Also give you some timelines and so on. And what I usually do, I use ChatGPT and I use DeepSeek to give me some ideas, and like sometimes something like half of ideas are trash, or like sometimes are they are too basic. I already know, but few ideas may be quite interesting. For example, today we will not cover decision making with AI, but it may be a nice idea. So like for next time, probably I should include decision making with AI and some tools which helps to make decision. We will cover research, so it's a little bit similar, but but specifically decision making. And I already mentioned that AI is good for like understanding multiple contexts and multiple like fields. So for example, if I don't know about like, anything, but uh, if I provide a context as this webinar is for high school kids interested in biology, it can help to adapt like these ideas to this context probably better than me, especially if I'm not expert in high school kids interested in biology. But yeah, so it's like AI in biology, AI in biological research, and so on. And yeah, some students, tools. So it depends on your audience. So the point is, try to provide like more context. It's similar to general advice and prompt engineering. Try to provide more details, be more specific, like request what you want from AI, like in more details. In this case, you will get better response. Also, most of AI providers are like recently, like in a couple of months, they've released reasoning models. It's O1 and O3 in OpenAI, ChatGPT, and also DeepSeek R1, and yeah, so DeepSeek it's kind of down sometimes, but let's try DeepSeek. For example, um, you know, and the reasoning models are basically they're thinking harder. They sometimes cost more, so there are like lower limits, like you cannot use them as often as regular models, but reasoning models are thinking more, and therefore they are producing like generating you usually like better results. And I asked like some novel ideas what to cover in this workshop, and it suggested to cover some lesser known AI tools and like digital twin workflows, so interesting, automating invisible work, and yeah, cross-functional cooperation, hyper-personalized productivity hacks, ethics. Yeah, it's interesting. We actually do not cover ethics here today, but it's an interesting topic to cover in this webinar. So yeah, basically it helps you in brainstorming. Usually it's like a lot of information, like different models, like depending on your prompt, it will provide you with lots of ideas, but that's what brainstorming is. So you need like a lot of different creative, like various ideas to then like combine them and decide what you want to do. So brainstorming is a very practical and good application of AI. Yeah, and as I mentioned, model matters. So try to use reasoning models, try to use multiple like models, but I found that reasoning models are usually better for brainstorming. Then next point is it's kind of related. How to like how to use AI to create presentations, and you can combine ideas from brainstorming and then ask GPT to create, for example, slides for for your presentation. And you can either export to PowerPoint right from ChatGPT or use special services like Gamma. I will show you in a minute to create presentation for you. So the easiest part is, for example, let's continue with this example. Create slides for 1 hour workshop. Uh, let's first create slides. Maybe it will create. Oh, it's a reasoning model. Okay. So it's thinking like what slides should be. So this is like outline, export to PowerPoint, and yeah, reasoning models are quite limited, so they cannot export to PowerPoint, and it suggested me to write Python code. But let's copy the outline and ask for all to make slides for us. It's thinking. It's actually on the backend, it's writing Python code, but then it's executing it. Yeah, okay. So it it executed the code and let me share it with you. Okay, this is PowerPoint created by ChatGPT, like work smarter, like presenter name. If I would specify it in a prompt, actually it will add more, like agenda, introduction, what is AI, tools, how to get started, pitfalls, Q&A, summary, next steps. So it's not like self-sufficient. So you will not use, I will not use the slides to give you a webinar based on it. Like formatting is off sometimes, but it's a good start. So how I use it, for example, I try to brainstorm with AI, like slide structure, and then export it to like PowerPoints and to Google Slides, and then improve it, like tinker with it and so on. So I start with this, like I start with discussing with AI the structure, and when we agree with AI, I export it and like start working on particular slides, improving it and like moving things around and so on. But this initial step helps me and saves me hours of work. Okay, let's go back to the presentation. Okay. One more tool is Gamma. It's actually like a startup to generate presentations. It's it works best if you provide a structure. So you can still like brainstorm, decide like what structure you want to have with your slides, and then use it to generate particular slides with Gamma. But for example, you can create new, yeah, yeah. I hope it will figure out, and it's generating okay, yeah, in this style, for example. So generating a presentation based on the structure from ChatGPT, and yeah, kind of nice. So like I can give you this presentation, for example, like introduction, what is AI? What is AI? I think it's redundant here, but yeah, tools like use cases, steps to get started, and so on. So it's a good tool to create fast but nice looking presentations, and then you can edit it. I think you can also export it to PowerPoint, yeah, and PDF. So it's a good tool to generate visuals and slide structure your presentations. So back to use case. Creating presentations is much easier nowadays. You still need to understand like what you're talking about, because brainstorming is good and AI is good by like giving you random ideas and sometimes hallucinating, sometimes novel ideas, but you still like need to control the flow, pick like from this like hundreds of like ideas or hundreds of slides. You need to pick like whatever you think is important, like for your audience, for your readers, if you write text and so on. So yeah, AI will not do it for you, but you with AI can be much more efficient, faster, and yeah, producing like better results. Like connected use case, next one is solving a blank page problem. And this is a blank slide, but when you need to write something, it's the same as with presentations recently. So if you want to start like writing a report or presentation or email or a book or like research paper or whatever, you can talk with ChatGPT, with Claude, with DeepSeek about it, and it will provide you some initial version, which you will edit later on, but have an initial draft helps a lot to start, because blank page problem is real. Like you sometimes do not know like where to start, how to start, with what words, with what slides, with what like images and so on. And yeah, blank page problem helps. Yeah, it helps with blank page problem a lot. And it's true for like both presentation, like brainstorming, automating email, automating meetings. Going back to brainstorming, by the way, try to use AI when you brainstorm with people. Sometimes, I don't know, 5-10 people are gathering to brainstorm or discuss some ideas. Try to have a few minutes in this meeting for everybody to brainstorm with AI, and then using human filter to discuss some interesting ideas. It may give you better results than only relying on human's brain, human's intelligence. Okay, one more use case is automating research and data analysis. AI is also quite good at it, and it help you to find information and analyze it. For example, you can upload like your Excel file to ChatGPT and ask like to find a sum of numbers, or like find something. So it can analyze your files based on your textual prompt. Most often it writes like a Python code to analyze this file, and so the result is precise and not hallucinated. So this is one use case, but another use case is using AI to find answers on your questions. So, for example, the most like popular common tool is Perplexity, and it's kind of search engine, but AI powered search engine. So you can ask harder, like more like deeper questions. For example, who are competitor hyperscale, say, and it search internet, but also it use AI intelligence to analyze the results. So basically, it use like search, but it aggregates it to, so you don't need to read all these pages. You can get aggregated information based on your question. Yeah, like interesting. ChatGPT is a competitor from Hyperscale. Stack Overflow, JetBrains, Recode Yeah, some of them are real competitors. What about, I know, Chinese market? And let's search for Chinese competitors, for example, based on information on internet. So you can use Perplexity for research, like for market research, when you're like looking for some information and there are like a lot of sources, you need to aggregate them and so on. It's quite effective and good. Sometimes like you need to verify results at the end. It do not hallucinate like often because it for example, Perplexity is using search as a primary tool and then aggregated with AI. But still you need to like apply critical thinking to results. Yeah, the good question actually, like from Ivan right now, how can we confirm that analysis is correct? In other words, how to make sure that the result is not hallucination. So yeah, you need to double check, especially like if it's important for you. Perplexity usually like have links to sources. So here actually like actual pages which Perplexity used to write this report. But yeah, sometimes errors happen, the same as with humans who do research. So you need to verify, like maybe you can use like multiple tools. You can try to, you can try to use multiple tools and also like different prompt. And if it gives you the same result, like in some part, like there is like some intersection in this analysis, there's a higher probability that this is true. So if both Perplexity and ChatGPT give you some information, like for now, list of competitors, and you intersect this list of competitors between multiple AI like search platforms, an intersection is higher probability that it's true because multiple tools agreed that they are competitors for hyperscale, for example. Yeah, so Perplexity is quite good tool to for search-based research. So if you need to find something, or if you have some very specific question. So if you have like a question which is not like easily like you cannot easily find it on Google, like with hyperscale competitor, probably there is no such like public page or blog post which you can find on Google, but there are multiple resources which can be aggregated with AI to give you an answer to your question. Yeah, also like you can use ChatGPT and DeepSeek. Please note that there is a difference between model knowledge and search. So for example, Perplexity is primary search tool, which is powered by AI to analyze search results. But for example, if you use 4O, 4O has a search tool, so they can search who are hyperscale competitors. And usually like lower intelligence models, like non-reasoning models, can search internet and find you some results. But also models, if you're using LLM as a model without search, it will not find you the recent information, and sometimes it will hallucinate more because it's relying on your like on AI knowledge. For example, when is your cutoff. So ChatGPT 4o, their current knowledge cutoff is June 2024. So the model in its artificial brain knows only things which happened before June 2024. And if you're trying to do like market research on recent trends and so on, and ask this model directly without this model using search, it will not give you up-to-date result. And it will be similar to human brain, like like AI is similar to human expert. And if you ask an expert can give you a result. But if you need to do market research, to do some like business, like a product research, like technical research, like any kind of like research, deeper thinking, probably this expert need to, read articles, like go to the library or like go to like a virtual library and so on. The same for AI. AI itself doesn't know anything new and also has condensed like knowledge in their artificial brain. And if you want to use AI for good quality research, AI should be able to search internet, find like new information and so on. And ChatGPT 4o can do this. Most of reasoning models cannot do this. So if reasoning models are good when your prompt contains all the information and the model should think like deeply about it and use the artificial like brain to give you an answer, but it's not good when you need to search internet on recent trends and so on. And Perplexity is primary search tool, so they rely on search, and it's a good alternative for ChatGPT, Claude, and other models in terms of research. Also, OpenAI recently released like a deep research, which is not yet available for everyone, but it's basically like even more like better product in terms of combining search with reasoning. So it's like multi-step reasoning, planning, and people say that it's quite good in making deeper research. So it can think like for 10 minutes, search for internet, like read papers, and so on, and give you an answer with a better quality. I think it will be available like during the February to paid users of ChatGPT, all paid users. Right now, it's only available for pro users, which is like $200 per month. And yeah, so more and more companies will release, I think, similar products and similar models. And if you need to find some information or combine some information, try to use these tools. It will save you time. You can still, like, you will need to analyze like the result and critically think and decide, like some so decision is still on you, but AI can be good too for make it faster, like you have like more information to make a decision. So basically AI is a free researcher to aid you in this research. Okay, we have about 10 minutes left. So short tips and tricks and basically practical steps. You're already occasionally using, based on the survey, already occasionally using AI. So you probably know what to do. But a good plan is to audit your repetitive tasks. AI is good at lower intelligence, repetitive tasks. So there's things you clearly know how to do, but it's just boring, like lots of things to do. Like, for example, if you have a slide structure to create a presentation, you just need to copy paste like 10 times. Or if it's like internet research, you need to Google, read all papers, combine information. So in this like lower intelligence repetitive tasks, AI is good. So you should audit repetitive tasks you do. Then pick maybe 1 or 2 tools to test for 30 days. Also, it's helpful to set boundaries. So for example, if you use AI to write your emails, you can have like a 1 day of a week or like a few hours on a week when you don't use AI to write your emails. So you can like think deeper. You can maybe like think about like new ideas. AI is good at doing like boring average work, but AI, if you are like replacing yourself with AI, you will be also like average, and sometimes you need to spend more human time to think about like what more exceptional cases, maybe some more interesting cases and so on. So it's good to set some AI-free time blocks to do it yourself. And also start using AI manually, and then you can automate. So we have not covered it, but there are multiple tools, multiple products to automate some workflows. The most common is Zapier, where you can automate like between multiple products. So for example, if Grain is recorded a meeting, like posts the recording to Slack channel, for example, or send email to people who were mentioned in this meeting or something like that. So you can build automations between tools and workflows. And Zapier can do it. IFTTT can do it. It's simpler. Like if IFTTT means if this, then that. So if something happens, then do this. And N8N and Make are more complex workflow automation tools. I personally like N8N because it's open source also, and available as a service. You can build quite a complex workflow, including AI tools to automate some tasks. So you don't need to use AI when you're completing this task. So workflow will complete this task for you. It's similar to some like Chrome tasks, like so doing some regular workflows, including you can include AI in multiple steps. So the result and a covered workflow be more intelligent. Also, ChatGPT has scheduled tasks recently. I think they released it about a month ago. So you can schedule a task in ChatGPT and it will pop up at some point of time and will do something for you, like remind you about something, like write you like an email. You can schedule a task like to write you I don't know, a blog post, like a tweet every day. So it will remind you and will generate you some like the 10 ideas of your tweet or exit. I don't know how to call tweet now. And some common challenges are data privacy, especially like if you're using it in a large corporation, and employee resistance if you also use it in a company. And the go-to solution is start small. So you need like to pilot projects, like to try it like instead of like a company level, try it like yourself, and then maybe within your team and so on. And start small. If it works, then scale. Because there are multiple tools, like lots of like new tools, lots of new products. Some of them are working, not working. Some of them like really like small startups, so they don't care about data privacy. Some of them are like enterprise solutions, so they care about privacy, but hard to purchase and integrate and so on. And yeah, also one of the solutions is ask AI to help how to overcome the challenge and brainstorm some ideas, how using your context, like your profession, for example, your job, like your life situation, your team, how you can start using AI efficiently, or like even like just start. So like it's not important to be efficient from the start, but it's important to regularly try something new and adopt what works, and yeah, stop doing what doesn't work. And the key takeaways, we covered some common use cases of how to use AI to be more productive at work and in communication. And automating meetings are very popular use case if you are not using any like note taker app. I highly recommend you start using. And yeah, also automating emails, like writing emails, drafting emails, is very good task for AI. I haven't mentioned it, but it's also very useful between cultures. So if you like, if you're living in one culture or born in one culture and writing email to the person in different culture, some cultures are more straightforward, some less straightforward, and so on. So you can adapt your response to the person who will receive this email, and you don't need to understand all the details of cultures. You can just communicate your message, and AI will help you to deliver this message. Also, brainstorming is a big use case, and AI is especially good at it because it knows a lot of stuff, maybe shallowly, but lots of stuff. Creating presentation reports, like solving a blank page problem, is a good use case for AI. Automating research and data analysis is also very useful use case, and it's growing. So like more and more products will help, like similar as OpenAI, like deep research, like deeper like features to combine like search with reasoning and provide you even like deeper like so it will be able to solve harder research problems automatically with AI. And my key suggestion is start small and avoid overwhelm. There are a lot of tools. Sometimes, like for example, note takers are mostly similar, so it doesn't matter which one you're using, but it matters a lot if you are not using any note taker and using like any note taker. So if you cannot pick a tool, that just pick randomly, and it will probably be better than not using any tool at all. And I also should mention that if you're technical or want to be more technical in terms of AI, sign up to our AI engineer cohort program. It's a long, I think 6 months program where we in Hyperskill teach you how to use AI for how to be AI engineer. So how to use AI to build like products, backends, like AI pipelines. It requires coding, so we will teach you all technical stuff in this program. And we have a promo code webinar here for participants of this webinar. And also we will host in about 2-3 weeks. We will host a short but practical workshop. It will be 3 hours. You will need to actively participate. So this webinar is passive. You are listening, like understanding something, but real knowledge, real skills are born when you try to do something, like it doesn't work for you, you try a different way, like you get a feedback, for example, from me or from other teaching assistants. So we will host a 3-hour hands-on workshop on how to build like AI automation for your routine tasks. Some of these like tasks were covered today, but maybe in your line of work, you have some other tasks you want to automate. So we will teach you how to build something which helps you to do the repetitive task automatically. So you will have more free time for other stuff in your life. Sign up to this workshop if you want to learn about it. But as I already mentioned, it will require active participation. So you will need to do something. I will give you like assignments. We will sync like between between teams who are doing this assignment. So it will be practical with lots of practical knowledge and skills. And we have a few minutes for Q&A, and I have 2 questions here in Zoom, or 3 questions. I will go through all of them Ivan asks about which tool would you recommend if I need to research analyze internal data. It depends on your like internal policies sometimes, but usually ChatGPT, Claude, they do not learn on your data, and also they have I don't remember where, but you can opt out even more than so they will delete your data. And if you're on a paid plan, you also have more options. So even basically, they will not train on your data. But if you have a paid account, like ChatGPT, you can limit it more, like how to delete, for example, some information and so on. So usually using popular public AI services is safe. But the safest option is to use local LLMs, as it's more technical, so it's also depending on your company and like technical knowledge of like your company and yourself. But you can run LLMs locally on your laptop. If your laptop is not very powerful, you can run smaller models, which are somewhat stupid. They're not stupid, but they're not smart. As smart as large models. But if it's like basic analysis, you can use even local models on your laptop, even without internet, so that it's completely safe. But you can also run, actually, like DeepSeek made a huge change in it. DeepSeek released their model, it's open weight. So if you have a high-end, like Mac Studio, like not a laptop, but a computer, you can run DeepSeek models there locally, and you don't need internet. And also, if your company like knows how to deploy models, you can deploy it like to the cloud, like in your like AWS account, for example, and use it there. So yeah, it depends on multiple parameters, but overall, using popular public models is usually safe. If you want to be extremely safe, you can use local models or deploy it locally into your company infrastructure. Marcel is asking, DeepSeek wasn't great at privacy recently too. Yes, DeepSeek is kind of not probably very safe. Some people think that they're not safe because it's Chinese model, and who knows what Chinese government is doing. But I think that since DeepSeek is actually a pet project of a hedge fund, so the hedge fund, like they used AI to trade, they like a quant trading, and they've trained DeepSeek and released it, and occasionally it was very good, so they did not expect it to be so huge and so good. So that's why they didn't build all like security infrastructure, like all testing and so on. So DeepSeek maybe is not yet very safe because the team who is building DeepSeek as a service have not thought about privacy a lot because it was a pet project. But DeepSeek model is open weight, so you can download it locally and use it locally and know that data will go anywhere other than your local like computer. And also DeepSeek was distilled in a smaller model, so you can run smaller version of DeepSeek even on laptop, but it's not as smart as full DeepSeek model. Shashank is asking, there is no registration link for AI engineer bootcamp. When will it be able to register? That's a good question. Who can answer about AI engineer? I think we can have a chat in a row. WhatsApp. Okay, after the webinar, we will send a follow-up email there is a form to enroll or a link. I think we're supposing to start this program at the end of February. And yeah, it's still early to have a sign up form here, but yeah, we will send a link. Thank you for noticing it. And what's the pricing for bootcamp? Good question. I think pricing is also still not public. We will send email with all these details. So it's an early announcement, sorry, and it was put in a rush, but we were thinking that it's important to say you about it, and we will send more details as a follow-up to this webinar to your emails. Marcelo asks, why should we feel safe with other AI tools? What makes ChatGPT or Gemini or else safer than DeepSeek? I can't believe DeepSeek is not safe just because it's from China. Most other companies are, so they're businesses. Even OpenAI is still not profit, but it's a business, and Gemini, like Google, is a business. For them, it's reasonable, profitable to be safe for the users, because if they are not providing like a privacy and safety for the users, they will lose all customers. So we can reasonably believe that they're doing like whatever they can to ensure privacy and be transparent about it. The same with DeepSeek, but DeepSeek is just like a smaller project, so they don't have as much engineering efforts and power as OpenAI or Google or Anthropic, for example. And also across like major models, major players, which is OpenAI, Gemini, and Anthropic Cloud. I think Anthropic is especially targeted on like privacy, safety, also like guardrails and some like debasing their models. So I think Anthropic, based on like what they do on the market, can be considered the safest one. But yeah, also Google and OpenAI are seriously considering like safety as an important part of their product, because nobody will use unsafe AI nowadays. So it's for companies, it's important and profitable to think about safety and implement it. Next question from Sebastian. An immediate use case that come to mind is automating Slack messages based on some trigger in a pipeline. Simple example is identification of successful deployment. This is a repetitive task that most team will need to do. However, it's not possible to build this automation on-prem similar to N8N without utilizing external service. Hope that makes sense. Well, Slack is external service anyway. So usually you use external services, but you can build, for example, for Slack, you can build apps for Slack even yourself and host it yourself. So for example, we at Hyperscale have a multiple Slack apps which we wrote, we host them on our servers, which do some automation for us, celebrating some like birthday of team members, or doing like deployment and so on and so on. And also end-to-end is open source, so you can deploy it on-prem and use it even like in a local network or like locally. So end-to-end is good because it's open source. You can use it as a service, so you can purchase it like as a service, but you can also deploy and use it in your infrastructure, very safe and efficient. But yeah, there are like a lot of use cases of integrating like multiple team tools like messaging platforms, like task trackers, documents, and so on with AI, because previously we humans were integrating, for example, a task tracker with a Slack. So we have some tasks in a task tracker and Slack messages to discuss them. And we, with human intelligence, were integrating these tools within a company. But nowadays, some of these processes can be replaced with AI. So artificial intelligence will do this integration between team tools. Marcelo is asking, the quality of answer given by any Gen AI depends on the quality of material used to train them, right? Yes, it's true. So garbage in, garbage out is right in this case, even if some garbage was used to train them. Yes, it's true. Yeah, so training set is important, but most of current LLMs, like Gen AI models, are trained on lots of internet data. Some of them, like some of this like data garbage, some of them are not. But overall, AI is giving quite reasonable answers. It's not usually like in many fields, AI is not better than like a great expert in this field, but also in most fields, AI is better than the average person in this field. For example, I'm not a writer. I'm also not a native English speaker. And AI is writing emails better than me and faster than me. I don't need to write like a poem which will get a Pulitzer Prize or like whatever. I need to write email, and my average human writing is worse than AI writing. So it depends on the use case, but yeah, garbage in, garbage out is true. And also Gen AI models are producing quite good results nowadays. It's also true. Anonymous question, how does Bootcamp differ from Hyperskill Premium? So Bootcamp is more guided. So it includes Hyperskill Premium, but also mentoring and guidance along the way with a smaller group and personal attention to every member of this group to help you learn and achieve learning results. So on Premium, it's mostly self-paced, so you need to motivate yourself and be persistent. On a bootcamp, like a engineer bootcamp, we will help you and we will guide you more to the end result. And the last question from Marcelo. What I mean is, yeah, it's probably about safety. There is always a chance of any AI model being biased, right? Yes, it is right. And actually, it's like 100% chance. So all AI models are biased. You can think of AI models the same as humans. So depending, for example, on where human was born, like how human was educated, like what kind of like life experience human had, this human may have some biases. And we all have some biases. We have like political biases, like other life biases. We have like, I don't know, some people believe in AI, some people do not believe in AI, like whatever kind of biases are existing in human brains. The same is true for AI based on training data and guardrails. So based on like what like training data is like life experience, and guardrails is what company who builds this AI model putting on top of like after the training. So based on training guardrails, AI model is biased. So like models who are like trained by US companies on like US US internet, like a lot of like English speaking, like in the US based internet pages are biased, have like more US centric view. Chinese model have more Chinese centric view, and it is biased similarly to as like US person is biased and Chinese person is biased. So you need to consider this, yes. And AI, like it's not possible as for person, like it's not possible to be unbiased at all, because for some like political stuff, for example, there is no ground truth. It's not math. It's like there is no, so in some things there is no truth, there are opinions. So the same as with humans, there will be no AI model who is unbiased. But you can try to like use AI models who are closer to you, to your worldview. In this case, like it will behave similar to you. Or if you want the opposite, like if you, I don't know, targeting Chinese market, for example, and building a product, and or have a Chinese customers or Chinese partners, you can use DeepSeek model to like better understand their biases and like somehow talk the same language as them. So yeah, all AI models are biased. I do agree. Ludmila said, thank you very much for presentation. Thank you for listening. So it was the last question remark from the audience. Thank you, everybody. I hope it was useful. Please, if you will have any questions about like AI engineer program or this workshop, write us an email. We will also send a follow-up email with all links and based on questions also you asked. And as I already mentioned, start small, avoid overwhelm, try to pick like one of the use case and try to use AI, and I hope you will enjoy it. And while doing it, you will pick your tools, pick your use cases, will get some skills and experience and change or improve over time. Yeah, thank you. Have a great rest of the week, and I hope you enjoy this presentation. And yeah, we will have some certificates sent as the last time. So you will receive certificates. Thank you. Have a good